two, one, ready. Short time.
Greetings. Welcome to Primal Sports. I'm your host, Dale.
And I'm Ken the Schwab Watson.
Yes, we have a big lineup for today. We have the big man from the 90s, Carl Brown.
Not only 90s, but a lot of people, like younger ones, know him as a coach, but he was also a former reggae boy and player, and he tell us about his playing days and then how he ventured into coaching after that. And I knew him as a coach growing up, but I always hear the stories Boys Town, because some of my family used to, all of them cheer for Boys Town growing up. So I want to hear the stories, the tales, playing career, growing up, coaching, and
And also he was the man in charge. He led us to the World Cup in 1998. That's the first qualification for Jamaica, first and only.
Yeah, he was part of that team and part of that whole
coaching staff. So we would love to hear more about that. So we'll get with Mr. Carl Brown in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And our first guest will be Oliver Mair, Consul General. He's in charge of the Southern American section there for the diaspora. He has energized the whole of Florida.
Yeah, he tell us more about his posts and coming across all the athletes, because he's a good friend of mine also on Instagram. I see him posing up with Elaine and Shelly and coming across all those athletes in Florida there. So he'll break us down for us in a bit. In about 4 minutes or so, he'll be our first guest for the day.
Okay.
Yeah. Before we
I hear you and the producer mounting off about who knows sports and who knows this
boss,
and
not just any producer.
You got it right. Both of you got it right. The French Open. Let's kick off things with the tennis.
Yeah.
Right. We see Nadal. Is it 22nd time?
22nd. You seem like you're losing count.
22.
Yeah, I know you're going to lose count.
He's at number 22, and we have to give it up to the King of Clay.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Undoubtedly, he's.
That sounds like you're limiting him to just a clay court player.
One easy match. It was an easy match. 3 straight.
He made it look easy. Okay. Casper Ruud is a legit top clay court player, and that's what he makes clay court players look.
Yeah. Great. Great
Casper Ruud first Grand Slam final, but overall, he was outclassed, outmatched, outgunned in the final. But what does this mean for Rafa's legacy? You think it adds to it, or it's just the same? Or
obviously it's an addition, but it doesn't put him in his one step further, in my opinion. I think he's still at number 2. And you know my opinion on that already. But he's a great player, number 2 of all time. That's not such a bad thing.
I'm wondering if Nadal can do something in your eyes to become number 1, or Djokovic just has to drop off the winning and fall down.
In my eyes,
or both has something.
In my eyes, he will have to get Wimbledon, one more Wimbledon, and one more Australian Open, and then I can put him in front of Novak.
What if he wins only 2 more French?
No, 2 more French.
Undermine the French.
Yes, the French.
It's too one-sided for him.
Yes.
Too easy for him.
Yes.
Makes it look easy.
The French, the clay is just a totally different surface than all the other surfaces.
One of the toughest surfaces to play on.
It's not the toughest. It's all depending on the type of game that you're playing, your conditioning. But for sure, for me, in my eyes, and I'm sure that in the eyes of a lot of the athletes out there, the tennis athletes, he will have to get a Wimbledon, and he will have to get another Australian Open.
Why?
Slam. Just to show the roundness of versatility. Yeah.
How old is he now? 36?
36.
I think he's 36.
Just show that the race is over. I'm not showing you that the race is over. So
at this stage in his career, you want him to win one more Australian and one more Wimbledon at this stage in his career.
Yes.
His late stage. And if he does that, what if he only wins one of them?
He's number 1.
What if he only wins one of them?
One? No, he
has to win both of them.
Both.
What if he wins Wimbledon and retires and goes off into the sunset?
No.
Beating Novak in the final.
Well, that's you're trying to. That sounds good still.
That sounds good.
That sounds good.
Because
we can probably give him a pass right there. If
winning this even winning this French Open is not like saying hide from anybody, or the draw was lopsided. He had the tougher half of the draw.
Without a doubt, it was a tougher draw. But
him play your so-called GOAT and beat him.
He's the king of clay. It's just his
It's
surface.
just an this one rule out clay then.
Yeah.
Just
They're not rule it out, but in terms of value, don't value the clay so much,
I value the clay more than us down.
How many titles on clay? 14?
14 and
14.
Yeah.
And he has what? 22.
Yeah.
That's 22.
We'll dive more into that later on in the show. We'll have our first guest now. Seeing that we have a jam-packed show and we have a lot to talk about later on. NBA, track and field, reggae boys. Jadko. We leave some of that up to the controversial boss. So after we wrap up these two great interviews, we'll dive later on into that. So our first
up is Mr. Oliver Mair, Consul General for Jamaica down there in Southern America. Welcome to Primal Sports.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
How things down there? The weather looking good?
Yes, I'm actually in Alabama because we cover the Southern United States, which is 13 states. So I have to visit, each of the states from time to time. So we're in Alabama for a festival. Maybe about 1,500 people in attendance now. Should go up to about 4,000 by the evening. But it's a weather is good. Weather is good.
So like a busy man.
I know once I reach the program, I know that I bus fully now.
Boy, I see you're responsible for, since you get this post, I see you're responsible for energizing the whole diaspora over there, man. And every week I see you with some form of celebrity. I saw you with Roy Jones a couple of weeks back.
Yes.
I see you with Shelly.
Shelly, Elaine.
Tell us a little more about what you're doing over there in the States.
Well, the consulate deals with everything that impacts Jamaica and Jamaicans. So we get involved in everything from people doing a court case and giving a witness statement at the consulate. We deal with passports, people becoming Jamaican citizens, representation at events. And so, especially with events, it can be sporting, it can be concerts, business. We work closely with Jumper to try and attract business to Jamaica. We work with tourist board. So we get involved in everything, So you'll see me all over the place sometime wondering, man, what is this man doing? But it's a portfolio,
Yeah. We know you're a big sportsman yourself. I know you touch the table tennis now and then, and you come across athletes. But tell us, what do you see in common for all these great athletes you come across? What do they have in common? I see you sparring Roy Jones Jr. And growing up, I saw him. He was one of my favorite boxers. We all know the track stars outside of Jamaica. What's the common link you see to all these great athletes?
Very good question. We had Solisha here just 2 weeks ago, and it was funny that Stephen Hilton came in at that time. I had spoke to her about Stephen. There's something about you put in the hard work, put in the discipline, you learn the strategic element of the game, but somewhere deep down you must believe that you are a champion and you walk into your greatness. Muhammad Ali started saying that he was the greatest before it was a reality, and he spoke it into being. Everybody can do it. I've tried that in table tennis. It hasn't worked for me yet. Maybe it will one day. But it's important to take on who you're becoming in the future right now and just believe it. And the champions, if you look at them, they each have a little air about them. They have some unique quality. And I would say that people have to start believing first that they are a champion, even before they actually manifest it in real life.
Yeah, we understand that, because even when we come across all these interviews and athletes, the mental state of becoming a champion and how you exude yourself, how you as you said, the whole aura of being who you are. And it goes across not only in sports, in your daily life.
Yeah.
And, but we are sportsmen and we try to deliver that message through sports. But in life, you have to have confidence and push your foot forward. Because I see you, as I say, doing things that you're a busy man all over the place.
Yeah, and I want to use the opportunity to thank the Jamaican community here who have been so supportive.
I think we lost connection there for a second. Oliver, you still with us, Mr. Mair? Having some technical difficulties there with Consul General.
Yes. You know, as you said, Kane, yes, you're back with us, Oliver.
Back with us, chip out there for a second.
Tell us about the brand Jamaica there in Florida there. What's the brand like? How big is it?
Let me tell you. I mean, Jamaica. Once you mention the word Jamaica, doors open. I mean, people are excited. People love the brand Jamaica. Jamaica is cool. Jamaica is talawa. Jamaica is hip. Jamaica is happening. Jamaica represents one love. We represent liberty. You know, the Rastafari movement, the reggae music. We have the bad elements, but generally, once you mention Jamaica, doors open.
Yeah. So the athletes and the entertainers contribute a lot to the brand.
Definitely. I mean, being here in South Florida, I mean, there's been a big trend since 2010. People have been moving from the north to the south, and Florida right now is even larger than New York. Over 22.5 million people living here now in Florida. So people are moving down from the north, and so you find right here in Florida, a lot of big reggae artists are right here, and every week there's a show. So I mean, every weekend I can find myself going to a show, and you know, whether it's Shaggy, whether it's Inner Circle, whether it's Third World, Cocoa Tea, Yellow Man, these guys are here, they're performing, and you get to see them perform and interact with them. Music, and I think reggae music also, in addition to being a big part of who we are as a people, is also part of the solution, because getting young people involved in music and sports, keep them out, keep their hands free from, the idle stuff. I think we can provide better options for our kids. I mean, outside, schools and other professions, but reggae music is a big deal. People love it, and we have to invest more in it. Encourage our young people. Right now, we're doing a project with Trenchtown. We got a festival to donate.
We just lost Oliver here. Yeah, we know sports and music. It's a big
entertainment. I mean, sports
it's a big thing.
It's entertainment. It goes hand in hand.
As Oliver said about even trying to channel the youths them in terms of keeping them away from certain things. It's really important. I think we should invest more, as we always used to say. We need to invest more in sports and even music as well.
You're still with us before we wrap up with Oliver. You still with us, Oliver? Back with us? We're not hearing you.
You're muted. No song.
Yeah, still here. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, man. So the statue of Bolt, is it finished?
Yeah.
Is it finished?
I believe that it's completed, and I know they have discussed the unveiling. There was some controversy around it, as you can imagine, but it's happening, and not anything to do with Bolt, but just the fact that it's in a city here, and people were saying, boy, what does Bolt have to do with this particular city and taxpayers' money? But I think that it's gonna happen, and I mean, for us to have a statue of Bolt anywhere in the world, we will celebrate and we'll make a big deal about it. And we know the person behind the statue, and he's another one of our legends. And we always celebrate the work that he does. And he's definitely putting Jamaica on the map, doing work with the Windrush, don't work with Atlanta with Martin Luther King. And so that's another one of our legends that we celebrate on a regular basis, and somehow I just felt to say that on this program.
Yes, I agree with that one. More work for him. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of breaking up a little. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah. Sometimes you chip out tomorrow, but we're hearing you now.
Okay, great.
Yes, so that unveiling will be this year?
My understanding would be later this year. I haven't heard the latest figure, the date. I believe I heard a November date, but not quite sure. But wherever it is, I will be there to celebrate. And of course, both like Bob Marley, Marcus Garvey and Shelley and Fraser Price. These guys, these ladies and gentlemen have all helped to put us on the map. And so we have to celebrate them in any shape or form.
Yeah.
And I'm here in Alabama, and I mean, almost every other shirt that I'm seeing has a picture of Bob Marley on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't pay for that type of branding, you know?
Yeah. That is true.
But Oliver, you have to keep us posted on that one, all right?
Yeah, we try to get one of the Primal team members to that unveiling. Hopefully myself.
Well, this guy, I hope I don't become a one-hit wonder. I hope that I'll be fortunate enough to come back on the program and be able to talk about sports. And I like what you guys are doing.
Actually, Oliver, we want to have you back on
Keep up the good
because
work. And
Oliver, I want to have you back on because we know you haven't gone through Oliver's sporting career yet.
No.
But Oliver and I share a distinction in that both of us are students of the great Fernando Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver was one of the students of Fernando Roberts, which is one of Jamaica all-time greats. And we played in the same team.
For sure.
Yeah.
So Oliver, thanks for coming on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Will you keep your posted on?
And my grandfather was the first president of table tennis in Jamaica. So, table tennis is in the blood. And congrats to each of you, Peter, the whole team and the production team, everybody, for putting this program together. It's excellent. I listen to it all the time. Engaging, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Oliver.
Here to the facilities.
All right. Thank you, sir.
We'll have you back
on. Good.
No, people.
One love.
Alabama. Thank you very much, Oliver.
No, people. Now, we want to welcome former head coach for the Jamaica football team in the 90s, Carl Brown.
Well, you keep saying coach alone. A big player back in the day.
Yeah, no,
but
in terms of qualification for World Cup, his name is on it. His name is on it.
Playing career as well. I mean, he'll break that down for us.
Welcome, Carl Brown, to Primal Sports.
You hearing us, Mr. Brown? Seeing him, but we're not hearing him at this point in time.
Yes, this Mr. Brown instrumental, along with technical director Rene Simoes. A lot of people would know that Carl Brown was still the head coach at the time. He was still the head coach. Rene was just a technical director. So both of them as a team qualified the Reggae Boys to the 1998 World Cup. It was. We had a holiday on that day. Remember?
Yeah, definitely. I remember being to the match.
Yeah,
I was on the field after the match.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I shouldn't be saying that, but back then it was more allowed. No fans on the pitch, but that was a big moment. One of my best sporting moments I've ever experienced. Qualifying for the World Cup in '98. Are you hearing us, Mr. Brown? Senior, but you can unmute your mic for us.
Moment in sports, boy.
Yeah. Use WhatsApp and call him.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, man. So it was a great moment, Ken, and the Prime Minister at the time, PJ Patterson, announced that national holiday. Yeah, great moment, boy. You had people who slept outside of the stadium overnight.
I've joined a long line with a bucket of KFC with my family to get into that match.
Yeah.
Sun hot. I think it was a Sunday.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome to Primal Sports. Hello, yes, Mr. Brown. Afternoon.
How are you doing?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's a Primal Sports team here, and we're introducing you a while, but we couldn't hear you.
Okay, yeah. I'm just hearing you two now.
Yeah. So, I mean, we get right into the interview. My co-host introduced you as former head coach of the Reggae Boys, but I'm here telling him that even before that, you were a Reggae Boy yourself. True. So, I mean, I guess we start there, and your playing career, when you started to play football, why football? I mean, give us the whole nature of football back then in your time coming up.
Ouch. I started at Boys Town.
Yeah.
And my big influence was my bigger brother Les. And he was talent, you know. Every time we discuss, my brother and myself, our friends will say, Skipper, I don't want you to get upset, you know, but Les was a better player than you, you know. So I say, I always tell them, you know what, I am upset. He said, why? Because he was a much better player than I was. He was what talent was. You know, I really am one of those players who worked my way back where I reached in the game through hard work. I wasn't very talented. I wouldn't put myself in that bracket of talented player, because I really grew up with some very talented player. You know, just a few names come to mind straight off the bat. People like the Diego Gardens, and Eric Sastry Dennis, you know, are players who I grew up with, and these were really talented players. I believe I achieved so much more because of my whole attitude, my work attitude. What I put in, I got out, and therefore Stone became that ground for me. When I started as a youngster there, and didn't play a whole lot as a young player, because my brother was very concerned about my whole participation in games at Boys Town, because it was very rough playing there. You know, you go there and watch training and you'd be that we had visiting teams. But that was the whole attitude of how we played. And therefore, for a long while, he kind of kept me out of the game. And therefore, my playing time was really at school. You know, I represented my school in the Manning Cup. And then when he migrated overseas, I got involved with Boys Town senior program. So I actually played minor league for Boys Town. And then started playing in 1969. I started playing for the Boys Town senior team. That just took off, because by then we really had some very advanced players. There players whose knowledge of the game was just amazing. And as a young player, you learn so much by just participating in the game, because we didn't have any coach. Boys Town was part of the YMCA, and therefore, you know, we'd get visiting coach who'd come there and spend 6 months and then leave. But we didn't have a resident coach, and the team training would be just players turning up at Boys Town, running some laps, and then 2 teams were picked, and then that's how the evening went until it gets dark. You know, so in 1970. We won the Division 1 title for the first time. And by 1971, I was actually the coach and captain of the team.
Okay. So player captain.
Yes, you know.
Player coach side.
For the first time, we started organized training. And there was one gentleman at Boys Town who would always remind me, he said, Coach, I remember the first time you turned up with a whistle and tell us to farm 2 lines. Because nothing like that existed at Boys Town before.
It was just pure talent, no system.
No system.
And I mean,
you know, so I took up that responsibility of you know, getting the team organized. And initially, it wasn't about teaching players how to control and pass ball. It was really just organizing and getting something organized and properly run. You know, the selection of teams, the appointment of who player, and no falls on my lap. And so, as a young player, I was now in charge of the older players. You know, and therefore, and people want to know, you know, as a young player, what was it like? Fortunate for me, the respect was there from day one. You know, that I really had the respect of everybody, and I was allowed to really take full control of.
But how you got that respect? How you got that respect? Was it through your brother, your older brother?
Not really. I mean, it was my whole attitude that created that.
Okay, you mean
I've been a leader from day one, and anything I get involved into, even if I started at the bottom, I usually end up at the top.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was what it was all about. You know, I was really the exemption at Boys Town. I didn't do a lot of things that people expected. People from Boys Town, from Trench Town to to do. You know, I was different. I was totally different in terms of my attitude. It was me. It was the way I wanted it to go that it went.
Yeah.
You know, and therefore I got the respect of the players because of that.
Yeah.
Too, you know, so that responsibility. I would leave training in the evening, for instance, and head off to a meeting at Consul. Because nobody goes to meeting anymore, and therefore our information, we could easily with training on a Wednesday evening. I hear that we have a game on a Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, because
the nature of the thing back in the day.
Back then a lot of things was just done spontaneous.
Yeah, it wasn't that organized.
It was not organized, you know, and therefore you have a lot of players in my time who just walk with their gears everywhere a match was played in. Because if somebody turn up, then they are available to play.
Yeah.
And a lot of players play that way because somebody didn't turn up and they had their gears there and ready to go. You know, and therefore just come back to what we talk about, not organized. Registration of players you were just a club member if you come from the club.
Yeah.
Okay, but before we move,
you play whenever there was availability. There was no registration that you were registered to Boys Town or Santos or Cavaliers. You are a member. People just make themselves members of club in the early days.
Yeah, and just play.
Yeah. So before I move on to my next question, I want to. Who is the best player from that time in your opinion? In the 70s, because we had an Alan Skill call a couple of weeks ago. We had you heard about?
I'm getting a lot of trouble.
No, I need to know. I heard about Diego.
You know, I told you about my big brother.
Yeah.
My big brother played for Santos for a while too in 1965. Just backtrack a little. In 1965, the first minor league competition was played. And boys won that. We played Campbelltown, which also included people like Alan Skill Cole.
Okay.
At Campbelltown. So I know a lot about Alan because I would go visit the Santos team, coaching training sessions, and I'd go to a lot of the Santos games because my brother was playing for Santos. Yeah. And as I tell you, he was an unbelievable player. You know, he was everything. He played both cricket and football and represented Jamaica in both aspects of the game. Alan was an outstanding player in our time, but I'm faced with one player who played for Boys Town by the name of Herbert Diego God.
Yeah, I heard that name, Diego.
I was hearing that name.
Yes, and I tell people all the time that if my first choice in selecting a team, if Alan and Diego was there, I choose Alan. And it didn't have anything to do with you know, who was more talented. For me, it was an attitude. Diego was a tougher fighter than Alan Skill Cole. You know? So the whole subject of who was a better player. Alan, for me, in terms of him, was just an amazing youngster. And I don't believe that we probably saw Alan at his best at senior football, and that means international football.
Yeah.
For me, I saw Alan as a Santos player, and he was just amazing the things he did. Diego, for me, was the different. The bigger the game get, the Diego Garden was so much tougher and would be a better prospect for me in selecting a team. Incidentally, both players played for Boys Town at some time, you know. And I went by and played for Boys Town for some time. Again, because of his relationship, my big brother. Because they both attended Junior Technical High School at some point.
Yeah. I want to ask you about the late Dennis Hutchinson. That's Then. Passed away last week.
Condolences to his family just before we move on there. But again, it was, you know, sometimes the subject come up about talent in Jamaica. You know, and recently, you know, one person, no talent, Jamaica don't have any talent. And I tell them, saying Jamaica don't have talent anymore is like saying that there's no water in Jamaica.
Yeah.
You know,
rich talent all across.
Yes, and we then came in a period when probably the talent was at its brightest. You know, and we all know that 1977 Clarendon College team, but they were a number of schoolboys during that period who was just amazing. The Camberdown 77 team was for me just as talented too, you know, and I remember then so much because then they actually came and played for Boystown at some time.
Yes.
You know, and we played at the national team. His whole character and the way he was so relaxed when he had possession of the ball was just amazing. You know what he could do with this and the things that he was really a cut above. He came in an era when you have people like the Lenworth Hyde. Yeah. You know, sometimes people tell you why these youngsters, why these talented players weren't playing professionally overseas like we see happening now.
Yeah.
The truth is, professional football was way down the line when we played.
Yeah, it was different back then.
Leading up to that 1977 grouping I tell you about. That 1977 grouping, the high point of in that period was trying to get a scholarship overseas.
Yes.
Not so much to go play professional football.
Yeah, to get education.
And I tell people, if we have people like the Lenworth, either the Dennis Hutchinson talent popping up today, they'll be rotten rich playing football.
Yeah.
With what we see happening now.
Yeah.
Lenny is probably the most talented player that I've had the opportunity to do some coaching with. He was just unbelievable, you know. So, you know, then felt in that era, that era that we had some really amazing, outstanding football during that time. And as I said, most of them, if you look at that period, that we lost a lot because they went overseas to play.
Yeah.
You know, just like in 1965 when the professional league started in the US, we had a lot of our better players then went overseas, and Jamaica literally lost the service of those players when that in professional league started in the US. It's the same thing happened during that 77 era, 80 era, when most of our talented youngsters went overseas to play. Got scholarship to play in colleges overseas. Very, very few of them came back to
Jamaica.
In national football.
Okay, so let us fast track. How you got the post as the head coach for the Jamaica football team, the senior team?
Ouch. That is way ahead of what is.
If skip out a whole decade or two.
Yes, you know, I know you have a lot to say, but
I know the time is not allowing us to go, but you know, you mentioned about not just Boystown, but actually a player. Actually started playing for the national team in 1970. And in 1976, I was made captain. I captained the team till 1980.
Yeah, 4 years, yeah.
Yes, you know, so all this time I was still coach of the Boystown team. So I played all my life and coached for Boystown. And when I stopped playing for Boystown in 1984, actually, after we won our first National League title, I decided then, you know what, I wanted to go into coaching full time. So I stopped playing in 1984. But before then, in 1983, I actually had a stint as coach of the Jamaica national team.
Yeah.
And I believe that came about because of Cassava by then president was a guy by the name of Billy Marston. And you know, we have people like the Russell Bell and Neville Glanville, who was really at the top of organizing Jamaica's football at the time. And I started out coaching the Cassava Invitational team before I eventually move on to be coach the Jamaica team in 1983. Our first game was against Cuba, and you know, and the problem you see in Jamaica football is not new. It is from way back. Sadly, you know, you just wonder when is it going to end. That one day we have really smooth running at the national. Because 1983, when I coached the team, we were preparing for our Olympic qualifying game against Cuba. And even 2 weeks before the game was scheduled, we just didn't know whether we were going to actually participate. There was just no funds coming forward. until a gentleman by the name of Gene Gray from Montego Bay, who was going off the water at a club in Montego Bay, literally took up on himself, along with Carl Chang from Western Sports, took up the responsibility of covering the cost of that. So we went to Montego Bay. This is how the game was, but after they ended up playing it at Jarrett Park. You know, because we moved down here, the team moved down to Montego Bay. Gene took up the responsibility of putting up us in a hotel, you know, because in them days people don't go to hotel. National team don't go to hotel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I tell you this, the program might be too short to go over the things that I'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
I'll quickly step in and tell you. You know, there's always this big talk of town and country football. You know, coaches don't like country players, that's why they don't get selected. There's a whole lot of reason why players from the rural area didn't participate in the national team. And one of them was expense. If you just think in today's day how troublesome it is, we see a recent national team who is warring with the federation about putting them out in an hotel.
Yeah.
This is 2022. Just think what it is like in 1983 and 1970 and 1960 to put up a team in Kingston and to invite all of these players from the rural area to come to Kingston. Where are you going to put them? Up to 1991, up to 1990, when I got my second stint as coach of the national team, you know where the national team stayed? Upstairs at the national stadium, you know. I had to go to places like Sorwell and get some sponge to spread on the floor, get some fans from them to run the mosquitoes that were around at the time, that was living in the dorm too. You know, so sometimes I don't believe people understand how tough football has been, particular for local national coaches.
Yes, I understand.
You have to work with that and at the same time get results.
That's it. That's it. About it.
The pressure you're on.
People want the same result that they were seeing in England and in Brazil and in France and everywhere. You as a national coach were expected to get those results. You know, when I played on the national team, for instance, George Thompson was my coach. And we kept a dance once up at Student Union to raise funds just to have some refreshment, you know.
Refreshment.
Just to get refreshment.
Refreshment. You know what our refreshment was? If you're familiar with the national stadium, the tunnel. As you enter this national stadium through the tunnel, there's a cooler right at you on your left, there you turn. Now care how tired we were. When the training finished, you'll see people sprinting to get to that cooler. Because if you get there second, you drink hot water.
We know that goes.
Yes, that was what provided refreshment for us. There was no glue on the sideline.
Yes.
The luxury of these days, I tell you.
You know, so people expect that the same thing from our local national coach who has gotten very, very little support. And even in today's day, you see, we talk about lack of fun now. If we get an overseas coach with a little different color skin from mine, the money will come out from every corner.
Everywhere,
I want tell me a little about that little time, 1994, the start of the campaign. 1994 to 98, when Rene Simoes got here, you were still the head coach, but Rene came in as the technical director. Tell us, what's the difference in that time in terms of the qualification and what's happening now? What was the difference then and what?
I actually wasn't the national coach at the time. I had taken a break in 1993 because I took sick and doctor recommended that I took some rest away from the game. But in 1990, at the back end of 1994, Captain Boyle came to my house one night to tell me that he wanted to run for president. The then president at that time was Aaron Dale, a gentleman from St. Thomas, Portland, St. Thomas at era. And Captain told me that he wanted to run for president. You know, so I said, Captain, and he also wanted to get a foreign coach in. So I said to him, Captain, you know my stance on foreign coaches. Because I indicated openly that I don't want no more foreign coach to come here for 6 months. Yeah. Because I have seen too many of that. They come for 6 months, a lot of money is spent, and then they leave for 6 months, and there's no continuation.
Yeah.
So he told me he wanted to change all of that. He wants to get a coach from overseas for 4 years. I did the head coach. He'll come in as the technical director, and he wants my support as president. So I you know, with that I gave him and I supported him on that. So Captain Burrell won the presidency and then went off to Brazil, and we know the rest. Rene came, and a lot of support came in. Not initially financial support from across the big corporate Jamaica. Most of the support was the little man in the street. The little man in the street who loved the game, who was willing to put up the shirts and
provide refreshments.
Was not working, you know, and do it. So
the big company came later on in the campaign when everything was going well.
When it looked like everything was good up. Yeah, when it looked like everything was up.
Yeah, that's in the jump on.
We went to Brazil. When Rene came, we went to Brazil for 28 days. We went to Brazil. And probably the only thing that was paid for was a ticket for us to go to Brazil.
Wow. We
didn't know how we were going to eat when we got there.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't stay in any big 5-star hotel. Most of Brazil cities have a little community dorm. Yeah. You know, because you know the game is so popular there that every community has their own dorm that they host their local based players. You know, and we got one of these to stay at, and I tell you, just to be there was great. You know, and the players were a whole part of it. Even that was a step above what they were used to.
Yeah.
You know, and we got funded by organizing games against some of the better teams in Brazil. And you know, we're talking about Flamengo and Fluminense and Botafogo and Corinthians, and you name it. We actually played 18 games in that 25 days.
Oh, so like a game,
and 18 quality teams. Yeah. You understand? You know, when to get a Botafogo or a Flamengo from Brazil to Jamaica would be just a no-no. You just couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
But we were there and we were able to play them. We played Sao Paulo, and they would organize games and collect at the stadium, and you know the support for football in Brazil is second to none.
Okay.
So everywhere we played would be jam-packed. And then we'd get a return from that. So the finance for the program while we were in Brazil came out of us playing those games.
Okay, so tell us about what's your thoughts on the present situation of football here in Jamaica, the JFF and the whole players and the whole thing that's happening now. I know you know the news already. You made mention about it earlier.
It is just sad. It's just sad being away and to see after so much has happened. Because you know sometimes people that believe that all footballers that don't know anything, so much has happened. Because I've seen it. I've seen it from the 60s. I've seen it, watch it grow up. I've watched talented players in the 60s. We had a coach from Brazil too during that period, a guy by the name of George Hakim. You know, and if we had time to go through some of the names who participated in that tournament, then played during that period, then we'd better understand what talent was like. As I said, in 1965, most of our talent left and went overseas to play in the professional league that started in America. So it is sad when you know where it's coming from, and with a big hope that after 1990 that something different would have happened, only to see the things that we see happening today. It hurts.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing that is creating all the problems right now. The JFM and all administrators in football has to understand that the most important product in that is the players.
Yes.
And until they start treating the players with that importance, we will always have the problems that we see popping up.
Yes.
The players are number one. They have been through a lot since before my time, during my time, and now. There's so much that is expected from players. Every time they hit the field, in spite of some of the things that I just said to you, they are expected to have good results.
Yes.
And sadly, that nobody see that the players, Liam Duncan. I don't know if you're familiar with the name. Liam Duncan is the founder of Cavaliers Football. One of the brightest football minds that I had the opportunity of interacting with as a young coach. And he said something once. He said, we can depend on players all the time. He's just hoping that players have the same feeling that they can depend on administration.
Yes.
That's where the problem lies mostly.
And that's where our big problem is. Everybody feel like the players are only playing for money. They don't know. All people who say that don't understand why these players travel from far to come and play.
Yeah.
They don't understand that. If you look at players who get plenty money to play football, let's rock back to the recent Champions Leagues that we see Real Madrid and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Look at how many of the Liverpool players you see shedding tears after game.
Passion.
That is important to them.
Yes.
Passion.
Victory is important to them at that level. And when we see a player make themselves available to represent Jamaica, people say, they get $2,000, they get $3,000. They don't even understand that is not the most important reason why players want to represent their national team.
Yeah.
Well,
I spent a year at Bolton. And if when the FIFA dates come around, if you stand out the Bolton office and the training ground, on the Monday morning when the players come and they go into that office to see if they have been invited to participate with their national team on that international date, you can tell without anybody saying who got invitation or who haven't got invitation.
Yeah. You can see the emotions. The emotions.
It means so much to them.
Yeah.
So this thing about people believe that players is only the money why them play. And when we used to play, and we we didn't play.
Yeah, we know the old time talk. Yeah, we know.
That we playing then was our video game. That was our internet. That was our laptop we travel around with. Go and play. Because there was nothing else to play, to do.
Well,
but these players loved it just as much.
Boy, I'm so sorry. We have to cut it short. Boy, I'm so sorry because, we can talk all day about football because me personally, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about the Black Pearl, Walter Boyd, but we don't have time. So I'm hoping that we can get you back on because I want, as a fan growing up, Walter Boyd was my player. And going to the World Cup in 1998, I was wondering why he's on the bench, being one of our best players. I wanted.
Long story.
I know it's a long story. I really wanted to hear. But we'll definitely have to get you back on because I tell you, I know you have a lot of things to tell us. All right.
Let him down. A lot of people feel like Walter was so disciplined and he was so this. We let him down too. We, as an administrators, as coaches, we let him down. But I just say it's a long story.
Yeah, we will definitely want you back next week.
Yes, we definitely want you back.
Yeah, because there's a lot to tell. Because even at the Anand Low issue with not playing against certain teams because of talking about he's going to get a red card.
Ask Carl if you'll be willing to come back.
You're willing to come on next week?
I can't guarantee you next week. I'm willing to come back. I won't sit here next week because I'm present involved in a program and chances that might not be able to do it next week.
We'll keep in contact with you.
I'll be able to confirm it in a few days from now.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on.
Interesting interview. We want to hear more.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Brown. That's Carl Brown.
Thank you, coach.
Former national player.
Good. Yeah.
Former national player and also Reggae Boys head coach.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of interesting stories there, and we want to hear more, but time won't allow us this week. But
it brings up the argument about professional sports versus amateur sports and who's doing it for the love. Because even the coach is saying that some of those players still have the love and want to play for the country. It's not just about the money.
He touched on a very important point as well, where you work hard, you will make it. Okay. No matter how talented you are, and you can see where even growing up, his whole attitude made him who he is and demanded the respect he got. But now
mentality.
We're at the not the midway point, but now it's time for
sports commentary
with a controversial boss.
Take it away, Peter.
Let me greet everybody one and all. It's been a very busy week of sports. I don't even know if I will have time to cover the amount of sports I see going on this week. But I just want to remind the crowd that once again, another successful week of betting. We had bet Nadal would have won the finals. Deal was, of course, didn't think Nadal was in the picture. But if people had, in fact, followed the bets that we have been making recently, they would have made a lot of money. You can? Yeah. Well, maybe you and me betting on ourselves. That's what we should do. Instead of giving out the secret. NBA finals going. I know you guys gonna talk about basketball, but I watch sports different than other people. So I see Steph Curry playing in this thing here, and every few minutes I see Steph Curry this big piece of plastic hanging out of his mouth on the side of his mouth, and I'm saying, what the dingus is going on with Steph Curry? It doesn't look hygienic. It doesn't look. What the hell? You guys know what it is? Yep. It's the mouthpiece. It's mouth guard, but he tends to chew the mouth guard. So being the scientist that I went and checked some statistics, and the statistics are, believe it or not, that in the games when Steph Curry is shooting with the mouthpiece hanging out of his mouth, he shoots 92% of his shots accuracy and 86% when he's not using the mouthpiece. I don't have an explanation. I don't know what the hell it have to do with sports commentary. But, I mean, I just found it weird that this man needs to have this thing hanging outside of his mouth when he's playing. We're at what? Game 4 just completed. And I'm no basketball expert, but I can tell you that if ever I saw a basketball game that was fixed, it was game 4. Boston suddenly stopped driving to the basket and trying to beat Golden State by shooting from the outside. Even though the zone was not protected, they could have given Brown, I think his name is, the ball and allowed to drive to the basket more. They were leading by 3-4 points. What are they worried about? Golden State have one real 3-point shooter. Why the game become a long-range shooting game? And I think that's a way of fixing games. Just change a game and allow the other team to play their game. Steph Curry, everybody is praising Steph about he stood up. I didn't think he stood up. I wasn't a big man enough. He did what he normally does. He didn't really turn up at the clutch moments, but NBA, very frustrating for me. The other thing, has anybody been watching the NCAA? Which is, I see why people are complaining about champs working athletes hard. If you want to be overworked, go and compete in the NCAA. They have guys running 100 meter, then 10 minutes later they're running 200 meters, then later on the same thing they're running 4x100. If you want to destroy your athletic career or burn out early, they talk about champs, talk about NCAA. But I saw a fellow named Fambule who won the 100 and the 200, probably 10 minutes apart. But the guy ran sub 10 and then ran sub 20 in the 200 meters. And I think it's one to watch. In the Diamond League, as we saw Elaine lose to Sherika, and it was quite a champion run from Sherika. I wish she ran the race of the Olympic to the finish, unlike the last one where I think she eased up, with 20 meters to go, and could have qualified and could have medaled in the Olympic Games. But good on you, Sherika. Makes it more exciting to watch in national finals, the trials, and later on the world championship. Are we seeing a world champion in Sherika? You guys will tell me that later. In the US trials though, I saw, was it the US trials? No, it was Rome, Diamond League. I saw a lady named Camacho Quinn get what you call a golden handshake. She fast started and they ran the race over. You saw it? You guys saw it?
No,
I think it was a disgrace. Anybody who gets a chance to look at it, tell me if that wasn't a disgrace. The other disgrace is these DSD athletes who are running 200 meters and soon 100 meters. A thought occurred to me. Lord Cole, is he deliberately creating a curiosity so people can watch athletics? Because these DSD athletes, why should they be allowed to run 200 if they're banned from running the 800 and the 400? Doesn't make any sense to me. They say in the 400 and 800, the testosterone advantage that they have is unfair. Why is it not unfair in the 200 meters as well? All these athletes tend to produce a burst of speed. Mboma, Seni, and there's another one. They're able to produce these amazing bursts of power at the end of these races. And so I'm saying, if you fly the gate, allow them to run the 200, fly the gate. Let them run the 400, 800, run the mile. Allow Semenya and all these other people, that was a slip, people to run the thing. Tonight, big fight. I predicted some results last week and I'm going to change my mouth. I thought Glover Teixeira would have lost to the guy called Prokisha from Czechoslovakia. But I've been watching them, and because you guys know I'm a high-level martial artist, I've been watching and working it out. Because, you know, like most martial artists, I have to work on my tactics. And I think that Teixeira is going to beat the Czech in the UFC main event tonight. Watch it, put some money on it. I told you so. I'm not the Schwab, but I told you so. Shevchenko is going to beat the girl she's fighting, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk is going to beat the Chinese girl. So what you call it when three go in a row? Is it a trifecta? The trifecta, I have given it to you. The other gift this week is, sorry if I'm going long, guys. The other gift this week is that the JFF, the players wanted to fire the president, the Mr. Wynn, the general secretary, and he's got what you call another golden handshake. The man get paid for all of next year by his friend, Mr. President. And I think something is wrong with that. Sportsmax is saying it's a legal thing and all that, but to me, when you get fired, you get fired. You get fired, you take me to court if you disagree with the firing, but I know, see you firing me and paying me right out. That's not being firing. That's not being fired. That's your contract that's you being given a golden handshake by your brethren. I wonder who's going to give him the golden handshake. It's time somebody gets the boot. No, two more questions related to athletics, eh? Who's the sub-11 queen? You know, the keeper. I saw her get a thing in the Guinness Book of Records, the sub-10 king. And you know me, I'm always for equality with women. Where is the prize for the sub-11 queen? And who's the sub-11 queen? The sub-11 queen up to last year, or just about there, was Merle Nutty. Not very well heralded for all she's done for us. So Merle Nutty had a great career. She ran against people who I don't think they were running clean. The record shows you a lot of people who you don't see those countries running anymore. All of a sudden, when the testing got good, they disappeared. And yet Merle Nutty was able to achieve a world record, sub-11 queen. The new queen, recently passed Otti, is Shelly Ann, right? And we have to give her praises. But why is it Asafa deserve the title of king and these girls don't deserve the title of queen? You guys can't, I don't understand it. And the next thing that bothered me, and I'm going to bring it up here, other than Steph Curry mouthpiece and Shenseea recent album. But the next thing that's bothering me is why in track we only run left-sided? We run counterclockwise. Yeah, you might have noticed we have run counterclockwise. But something funny happened the other day. The other day, there's a big race and everybody say Sha'Carri has made her comeback. They ran the other way around the track. Why did they run the other way around the track? Let me tell you. US authority, they discovered that the wind speed was against them in the other direction. So they turned the track around and ran the other way. And now you're hearing that Sha'Carri is coming back because she had a 4-point-something meter per second wind blowing in the clockwise direction. And, you know, you wonder why Americans always do this. Somebody tell me Americans always do this. Should Americans be able to change the direction of a track to suit the wind in order to produce great times? I don't know how nice that is. But then, should Steph be able to play with that mouthpiece hanging out of his mouth? Sports commentary. What say you?
Yeah, interesting. Interesting.
I don't even know where to start. I'll start there saying the phone lines are open. Feel free to call in. Number is 1-876-552-7406, and that's via WhatsApp only. I'll repeat the number again: 1-876-552-7406. Feel free to call in, talk on any sporting topic. I mean, whether you're a martial artist like my co-producer or not, because I don't, you know about those martial artist skills of my co-producer. First call right away. Give me a second there. He's called like he's been waiting. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Sports, Primal Sports.
Good afternoon, Primal.
Greetings, Mr. Manning. Greetings.
What's your sporting topic for today?
Well, I guess I'm touching on a little bit of everything, following the controversy parts, you know, addressing these topics. Yeah, so, first of all, good interview with the coach, former national. You know, I completely agree with his point about the fact that at that level, it is not about money, it is about passion, right? Which is why I personally feel a way about Raheem Sterling playing for England. Because when he made that choice, he was already one of the highest paid players in the English league. So I really wish he had maintained that passion to play for his home country. But that's the next thing. Yeah, so moving on. We're going to jump past that for a minute. Let's go to the track and field yesterday with Sherika Jackson. Yeah, that was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Could have been day before. But yeah, proud of that race. Love that race. I watched that race at work. We're in the office. The meet came on, all TVs on, and I bet my co-workers, you know, I said, hey, Sherika going to win this race. Watch what one. So right now, one of my co-workers is owe me a round of beers.
Yeah.
Because I believe in Sherika. I think she's the strongest of them all. She just needs to get her thing together. And I mean, physical strength. She's the strongest on the track. Right? Whether she can get the technicalities around that together is another story, but beautiful race, proud of her.
Yes. Without
Moving on to my main topic of the day, basketball. Because you guys know my team is in the finals, yeah? Man. First of all, I want to tell the controversy boss to load the mouth guard. Leave the mouth guard. Don't worry about the mouth guard.
It's a Warriors fan, man.
Don't worry about it, alright? Yeah. But the controversy boss said one thing, you know, Peter said one thing I disagree with. He said that in his argument for the match being fixed, he said that Boston stopped driving the paint, right? Making it sound as though the points in the paint were the saving grace for Boston early. Now, Dale and I happened to be watching the match at the same time last night, and at halftime I pointed out to Dale. I said, despite the fact that Boston has the bigs, right? The complete reverse is happening. They are getting difficult points in the paint and killing Golden State on the perimeter. So when the half turned and they're still shooting perimeter shots, yeah, they may have minimized their drives to the paint, but the fact is from the beginning of the game, they were killing Golden State on the perimeter. So I don't want the controversy boss use that as an angle to say they changed the way they were playing. They didn't. They had been killing Golden State on the perimeter. The fact of the matter is I saw where Golden State assertively started to defend. I could see bodies being placed in places, you know, as a people marking people for a change. So many points in the first half, I saw Golden State players just drop their hands because them look around and a man open, elevating for a 3-point shot. I didn't see that happening in the second half.
So you're saying that Golden State defense won that game?
The defense in the second half won that game. Golden State stepped up the defense, and that's all I can ask for. If you're defending and a player make a good shot, so be it.
So Warriors had more points. You know that every match that the Warriors or Celtics won, all of the matches, is who scored the most points in the paint.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, but I'm going to tell you this: Warriors got lucky last night because the low percentage shots that they normally take started going in.
Yeah.
In the last part of the game, that will not continue. And Boston. Yes, and when you look at the stats, 3-point shot is 40%, 38%. A 2-point shot is about 58 to 60%, 68%, run about there. So Boston is better in the paint, and Golden State is better on the outside.
Yeah.
So at the end of the series, it's going to average out back. So those little shots that Klay Thompson and Steph was
going to average out back to what?
It's going to average out back to, you have a 38% chance of winning.
It's going to have
Boston is going to have a 68% chance of winning. Yes. Based on
Golden State in 6.
Based on what they're depending on in terms of basket scored.
I said it from the start. Golden State in 6.
I know from the start I agreed with you and I predicted Golden State in 6. But the way this thing is going, it might be 7.
No.
Listen.
Boston needs a closer. For Boston to win, Al Horford and Marcus Smart have to close. And both are not so much talented.
So you guys, so both of you, Madden and Kane, you believe that those shots that went in last night at the end of the game, you believe that's sustainable?
No, it's not.
Okay,
but the issue is Boston doesn't have that closer that's going to carry them across the line.
Closer.
Yeah, you need to close the game. Boston had the game last night where it was up 94-90, had nobody to control the game, nobody to drive to the hoop and finish. When Jason Tatum needs to step up, he is not that player to step up. So Boston control the game all the way, and on the last part, championship metal took over, and Golden State will their way to that victory.
Yeah,
how did they win? You're saying that those shots that they took last night, those shots are going to drop in game 6 and game 7.
Whether they drop or not, Boston has to score as well, and Boston
Boston has an easier time scoring because they can get inside. Golden State.
At the end of the game, who will score for Boston?
All right, who depend more on the 3-point shot to win?
Golden State.
What is the percentage of the 3-point shot in the series?
So you're telling me that at the beginning of the game and the end of the game is the same game?
Is a percentage we're going to play by?
No, we're not playing by numbers.
30. No, you have to go by numbers and trends.
No. I'm going to buy championship metal. You have to go with that mentality and who knows how to close. So
Steph Curry is a closer now.
No, I'm saying that Boston doesn't know how to close. So by that default, Golden State is going to have more chances to win.
More chances to win.
Yeah. Because Jason Tatum is not going to take over the game.
Oh, so you're blaming Jason?
I'm not blaming him. I'm telling you, he is the one that should take up the mantle and finish the game. What's that?
Who?
That Steph Curry will do Steph Curry things. Between Poole, Clay, and Wiggins, we'll leave them to figure out the closing.
No, Steph Curry is not a closer.
So you guys going with the lower percentage?
Steph Curry will continue to.
It depends on who the matchup is.
I'm going to tell you this. Golden State got so lucky.
I'm going with
my
common sense, and that's a high percentage.
You know that Golden State had more rebounds on the offensive side and defensive side last night, and you know that will never happen in another game.
Yeah.
Why you say that?
No, because they don't have the height, they don't have the size, and they don't have. What happened?
Curry change the matchup and put Looney in the game more.
They don't have the size. They don't have the size. But if you guys want to go with a lower percentage, Golden State must shoot more than 45% from the outside to win this match.
Will the game be close? Will the game be close?
It must be close with a defensive team.
Who will close for Boston?
Who will close for Boston?
But the thing is, you know that percentage is not true because that percentage that you're saying reflects the whole game. When the game is close, with say under 5 minutes left, the percentages are out the window and the percentages change. And who will be on the court and who will set up? Jason Tatum will settle for jump shots. And if Jason Tatum takes a mid-range jump shot, I prefer Steph Curry or Klay Thompson taking a deep three, and that percentage will be higher. If Jason Tatum takes it to the rim and goes to the free throw line, then it's a different thing.
Steph Curry in the fourth quarter of all the matches, last 5 minutes.
I'm still taking that step shot over Jason Tatum, who needs to step up. Jason Tatum for Boston to win, Jason Tatum needs to find that inner member and say, hey, I'm the man.
I'm going with the numbers.
You saw Steph Curry last night? From the first quarter and say, yo, I'm winning this game.
What Steph did in the fourth quarter?
I'm just saying that will drive force to the team. And that person
Boston gave away the match last night.
And that person for Boston is either Al Horford or Marcus Smart.
One thing I want
And
you guys to
those two cannot be the it guy.
So you guys really believe that you're gonna get 10 more rebounds?
Who wins game 5? Who wins game 5?
Obviously Boston.
Who's going to win game 5?
Boston been doing this right throughout the season. The conference final was the same thing.
Co-producer,
The
out there
before.
listening. People out there listening. I mean,
Boston.
Golden State at home.
They don't call me the shrub for nothing, but hey.
So man,
I like being right, people. I like being
you
right.
thought last night that Golden State was a better team last night?
Hey, being
Watching
better
the
and winning
match,
is two
you
different
thought it was a
things.
better team?
Being better and winning is two
Golden
different
State
things.
is just like Miami.
Who is better runner, Elaine Thompson or Sherika Jackson? If you execute 21-91 and execute.
Sherika ain't winning anything with
No, but
with
I'm just
Elaine.
saying, it's a one-off game. It's a one-off game. If you execute at the time, and when it comes down to execution, and the game will be close, Madden, and it comes down to execution, for Boston to win, Al Horford or Marcus Smart is key because Jason Tatum is not ready for that.
It comes down to average. It's gonna come.
I've been telling you, bro.
I want to point out.
Game 1, who won game 1 for them? In the dying moments, Boston.
As a Golden State fan, is that on paper, Boston has the better team. No question.
Yeah.
So it's not about who has the better team.
I'm not going with no. I
don't know about that on the paper.
I'm going with average. I don't know
on the paper thing. You know,
Boston have height. Boston score.
I'm not so sure about on that paper thing. Boston plays better team basketball.
But Boston can score at will in the paint. Golden State, it's a struggle for them. So when the game is tight, we will see.
Boston don't have no top 100 player of all time on the team.
We will see.
Let alone having 2.
Steph Curry is not a top 100 player with 5 minutes to go in any championship game.
Say what now?
Steph Curry is not a top. Let's just put it.
I need to check now. I don't know
not
if
a
that
top
water is
50
drinking.
player.
I don't know if it's water.
With 5 minutes to go in a championship game, Steph Curry is not that man.
Since you touched that
Yeah.
topic, is LeBron a top 100 player with 5 minutes to go in any game?
No, he's better than Steph. he's a better defender.
The decision.
But man, I'm gonna leave it there. But we will see game 5 on. We'll see game 5 on Monday.
All right. Thanks
No
for the.
problem, man.
All right.
Thanks for the call, man.
Keep it primal, guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Respect. Do you remember the phone lines are still open? 1-876-552-7406. Feel free to call in.
Touch on the athletics.
Yeah, I mean.
I saw for Powell, the Guinness Book.
Yeah, I mean.
Is he a great sprinter, Ken? I'm gonna ask you this.
Definitely, no question.
Oh,
no doubt.
the sub 10, being a sub 10
No,
king
I mean,
makes Asafa
he's a great
worthy of
sprinter.
greatness, the title of greatness.
No, when you do things that few people have ever done and nobody has ever
Special.
done. It's special, of course.
Yes.
Running 972, running 977, running a lot of 97s, having the world record. I mean, he's not the greatest.
But he's among, you'd have put him amongst the greatest of
Yeah, man. Top 10.
top 10.
Yeah.
So
Closer to 10 than
hold
5.
on. Let me ask you something.
Top 10.
What do you think? You say you'd have put Asaf over Jesse Owens?
No.
So how is he gonna? You'd have put him over Linford Christie?
Yeah.
What? An Olympic champion?
Yeah.
An Olympic
That's a
champion?
one-off.
What? But Asaf
Put
has
him
never
over.
has never won a one-half
Yeah, but I'm
title.
just saying. I'm putting it over him. Body of work and all.
So you sneak him at the 9th spot then because I have
thereabouts.
names. I have
I know the name.
Donovan Bailey.
Same spot.
Kian, you just get trapped. Kian, you just get trapped.
I mean,
You just get trapped. To be great, you have to produce greatness in tournaments.
Asafa is a great sprinter.
Listen. Can I tell you?
I slightly agree.
He's not average. He's not good. He's great.
Kid, I've beaten some great players in practice. Great players. You guys would not believe.
Yeah.
But a tournament, you have to be able to do it in a tournament.
That's what defines greatness.
Asafa Powell, what tournament has he dominated? You can tell me.
No, but tournaments,
Olympics.
The nature of sport is different. It's not really a
No,
tournament.
man, listen.
He's one to come on.
There are rounds.
I'm just saying.
There are rounds to go through.
Yeah.
And then there's a finals. And I don't see a finals for myself. I've seen finals where everybody coming in there sub 10, and he's the only one who did not run sub 10.
Yeah, he's underachieving.
You remember those races?
Yes, underachieving finals.
There's a race with what the American
Beijing
guy with his tongue Green was
Morris Green.
There's a race with Morris.
And Asafa was favorite in that race.
Yes,
2004.
Asafa was completely intimidated. He was so stiff that he couldn't run.
Yes.
You remember they pulled an American guy out of the race.
I'm agreeing with you, but I mean you're kind of putting him too far down the
ladder.
Yeah.
So he's not in the top 10 for you?
There are some statues of athletes in the National Stadium Park.
Yeah.
And one of Bob Marley too. There's a statue of Bob Marley.
Yeah.
And everybody there deserves their spot.
Did something great.
But I have questions about Asafa.
Questions are there for everybody.
Yes.
I have questions.
There are questions, everybody. He's definitely an all-time great sprinter. No doubt about it.
Technically a great sprinter.
Yeah.
Technically, he's one of the 6 or 7 fastest men ever. But
I think greatness is mentality, though, Kane. We said that earlier.
But greatness, if greatness is to include fighting spirit and defending the odds when the chips are down, or even when the chips are, I don't have a minute. I don't have a minute.
If you're going by those parameters, you wouldn't be in it. But his body of work, 97 times sub 10. I mean,
it's hard to put him out there. Hard to put him out there.
I have a question about that, and that's why.
More than, I think, twice.
In commentary today, I raised the statistic about sub 10. And I put it to you that it's a meaningless statistic, Dennis Rodman started to publicize himself as the rebound king. Nobody cared about rebounds or counting who got the rebounds up to that point, See if you remember. But he found out that getting a rebound is something I can claim. Sub 10 is like that. Why, if you are really a great runner, show me some Olympic medals. Show me something.
He's a great runner, though.
He's great only because he has 2 world records.
I wouldn't say it's meaningless.
If you count the relays, he probably have 3.
No, we don't count relays.
I have to count relays too, but I wouldn't say it's meaningless, but people put more merit on it than they ought to.
Yes.
But it's not meaningless.
It's marketing. Good marketing.
But I wouldn't say it's meaninless.
Yes.
It is something that, hey,
all right, show me something.
But, it's not a telltale.
You know athletics, right? Sub 11 king, sub 10 king. Who we got the crown from?
Wow.
You see? So it's a meaningless statistic.
Yeah, we wouldn't know that. So now we're going to know that if anybody passed, I wouldn't know Asaf.
Yeah, who was the king?
He must set the standard.
If it is important, who was the previous king?
It was not important.
Morris Green, we'll come to think of it.
I don't know about that. I think we're guessing.
Morris
Green, clutching at straws.
Yeah.
If it just by
but you're right. I know what Peter says still. We didn't care about that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's useless.
The next thing I want to check is who is the sub 20 king for the 200 meters. Who's the king?
More.
You sure what that?
Yeah, man.
More than Carl Lewis? Carl Lewis ran a lot of fast 200s,
No, more than Carl Lewis, man. You have to remember.
Michael Johnson? You're sure that Bolt have more sub 20 than Michael Johnson?
It's possible.
No. Listen. I
don't get your point.
No. You're probably right. We don't. I think it's MJ.
I'm going to beg some statisticians to
tell
us.
Yeah.
Because I know Michael Johnson is probably sub 20 king.
It's between
but
both.
We never named a king up to that point.
Even before Jamaica was sub 44 king.
Yeah.
We'll get what you're saying. It's good marketing though.
Meaningless statistic.
No, but separate and apart from that, 2-time world record holder, he deserves his.
And you can say that him kind of resurrect the whole sprinting thing, Jamaica, male sprinting. We had
put a little life back into it.
You think he resurrected sprinting?
Male sprinting in Jamaica. Put us on the map.
Put a little life.
World record holder. He was you understand, Jamaican.
He was the hope.
The hope.
He was the great hope.
Yeah, no.
Before the boat.
Don't get me wrong, he's not in my 10, But you have to recognize.
I hear them say that.
Name 10 others.
I give resurrection is something that coaches do and administrators do. I don't think one sprinter doing well is a resurrection of any sort. Right?
Peter, it's a small island.
Did Usain Bolt resurrect Jamaican sprinting?
It inspired youths them.
You think Usain Bolt inspired?
Asafa was an inspiration to a lot of the athletes.
Could be.
Of course, being a Jamaican as a world record, it inspired the youths.
To me, the real inspiration was Merlin Nutty, because
at the start,
the real inspiration was Merlin Nutty, because in a time when Jamaica was not factor in anything, Merlin Nutty was fighting the Eastern Bloc and the USA. And we know how powerful those nations were in terms of the athletics program. When you think about Merlin Nutty, she stuck out, and they had very negative things to say about her, and her personality never helped either.
Decades.
Yeah, but the fact is, if you talk about greatness, that is greatness.
Of course, but on the male side, as they pointed to, he was more the hope of what Merlin was, and said, all right, step up and do this.
I just never saw him carrying the flag really that way.
No, he's not a flag carrier. No.
Yeah, I never saw him.
He's not a leader like
yeah,
that.
I never sat down and
personality
said.
is more laid
but
back, but
No.
but you can't take away.
If you look on Bolt, Bolt grabbed the flag like a champion.
Yeah.
But
Asafa is not a champion. Bolt is a champion.
Okay, let's
we'll clear that point.
Yeah, we clear that point.
Bolt is definitely a champion. Maurice Green, you can see these guys, the body language and everything. You know, them man are champion.
That was at Asafa.
Yeah, no.
Just a good runner.
No, I'm a great runner. I would say
good his ability.
I might can squeeze him at the 10th spot over Mike Marsh, but then again.
So you put Mike Marsh over Asafa Paul?
I could never do that.
He's a champion at the Olympic level.
Is that true? I don't know him.
Yes, he's a champion. You're gonna put you're leaving it to 100 or 200. Which one?
100.
100. We're just talking about 100.
Well, I think that Asafa should have doubled more.
I don't know that he could run the 200.
He can't manage it, man.
I don't know that he could run the 200. In fact, he struggled at 200.
That's one of the knocks
in tough races. He faded in almost all his.
That's one knock against him.
So
you have to double.
You're my 9. I have Jesse Owens, Crystal, Justin Gatlin, Bolt, Ewan Blake, Maurice Green, Tyson Gay, Donovan Bailey, Carl Lewis.
Where's Valerie Barzov?
They're going back into the.
Oh, we're not counting those guys. I heard Jesse Owens. That's why we're back.
Jesse Owens.
You don't think Barzov was great? You don't think Alan Wells from Scotland was great?
No, Peter.
No.
So I think Asafa can get my 10th spot. I can put him at the 10th spot.
You don't think Hazley Crawford was great? Frankie Fredericks was great? You don't think what's the other Trinidad guy? Atto? Bailey?
You just
Ben Johnson? Ben Johnson, Carl Lewis. You think Asafa Powell was greater than Ben Johnson?
Crawford? I was thinking about Ben Johnson, but the whole drugs issue, we can't.
No. Asafa Powell was at a drugs issue too.
No, Peter, no.
Asafa Powell had a drugs
issue. No, man, we can't.
No, I'm saying.
But Crawford, I was tempted to put Crawford in there, but one hit wonder. Me kind of. Asafa deserved the 10th spot.
2-time world record holder.
Yeah, man.
Okay, stop. Asafa Powell, Carl Lewis, who was the greatest sprinter?
Obviously, Carl Lewis.
Yes.
Without a doubt, Carl Lewis is in my 10.
Carl Lewis probably in the 5.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any of Bolt's rivals,
Gatlin Gay.
Yeah, I didn't hear Gatlin.
Gatlin and Tyson.
You had both.
Of course. Yeah. And you and Blake. This is where people go complain.
Yes, so how does Asafa make a 10 with those guys in there? Asafa can't make the 10 with them.
Unless you put Crawford and Donald Corey over him.
Yes.
And squeeze out the greatest.
So if you put Donald Corey, that means Michael Johnson must go over him too.
Tommy Lewis.
Tommy Smith.
Where's the Colin one went to Colin?
I was not beat on Asafa too much, but him deserve him.
No.
It's a certificate.
Let's talk about the positives more than the negatives for Asafa. Great sprinter. 2-time world record holder. Deserved of a statue. Some people say yes, some people say
no. Do you remember where he ran his world records?
Italy and
let's try.
No, this Italy.
I can tell you.
Italy.
Yeah.
You ran in Italy and I'm not sure next one.
You know what I find funny?
Reti Stadium.
Similar to this, Arian.
Where everybody run fast there.
Yeah, exactly. You saw Arian Knighton thing, and Flojo world record was US trials. And Asafa 100 in Rieti, Italy. I am not I'm not so convinced by world records that are running these open fields. You know, we're very suspicious of them. The race in Ritty, everybody runs fast on track, but he ran almost like a time trial. There was nobody else.
And then and who else in the race?
And the same thing with this area 9 running 19 point something the other day.
Bolt's best time ever. Recorded. Where did he run it?
In a stadium.
Berlin, you're talking Berlin?
In the World
Germany?
Championships?
Yes.
Prime time.
Prime time.
We were all
That's
there.
where you can't take away
We
from
were
it.
all there.
And on the
The
biggest
win,
stage.
there could be no doubt about win. There could be no doubt about
He
anything.
didn't do it in the Diamond League.
Right.
He didn't do it in national trials.
Right.
He didn't do it
No.
up by you at some track.
All his world record, except for the first one, the 972.
They were done with
in New York.
New
York, yeah.
5 billion people watching.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Even that race in New York, you know. Who else was in the race?
Tyson.
All right. When him other times, Berlin, Beijing.
Big races.
Produce it when it was needed.
Big races.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
races.
But that is the
So
big
that is
one.
greatness.
And that is the real
That's
thing.
producing. That's opening the door when they knock the opportunity.
We're not going to run it off, as I said, down in Italy.
Yeah.
Or run it.
Guys, before the show is going on, and we have trials coming up soon. We have Wimbledon coming up. We have trials coming up. So I needed to get you guys picks for first Wimbledon. You have a pick?
Not yet.
No, wait.
We have to see the field first.
World Cup football is coming up. No pick.
Obviously, Argentina, the most versatile team in.
Really? What's your pick?
I'm listening to me now. I'm choosing time when I'm
Well, guys, I'm stuck between France and Brazil.
France is who?
France and Brazil.
No,
Brazil?
Yes, Brazil.
France are favorites. France favorites.
Yes.
Argentina. My heart is Argentina. France are favorites. Dark horse. Denmark.
You're counting on Messi to produce something for Argentina.
Yeah. Take the year off.
It's not just Messi this time, you know.
I understand.
I think it's a team.
And I feel like
I've been following the stats.
Those Argentina teams have never really come good enough.
Yeah. But
Never really
this
come
team-
good.
take a break.
Eh.
Might do some things.
Okay.
Might do some things.
And France have the best team on paper.
Yeah.
Obviously.
No doubt.
So that's a punter's pick.
I have a last caller for the day.
Like the car has been struggling to get in again, Peter. Any complaint?
No.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal Sports. Prime time.
I think I was calling.
I
So.
mean, you have 2 minutes before we wrap up the show. Go ahead.
No, I'm keeping it simple this time. I'm keeping it simple.
Keeping it jiggy. All right.
Yeah, wonderful show as usual. I was really listening to the whole debate of this Asafa and really for everyone. NBA, well, I would say state in 6, but you still look like it's going to be in 7, I swear.
Yeah, it's shaping up to 7, but I mean, I have to stick with my pick. I said from the beginning, Golden State in 6. I don't know what my co-host is saying. He's saying Boston in 8. I don't know how that works, but
I'm going with the stats.
Formula 1 tomorrow again. You know, my pick is Ferrari to go ahead. I'm a little concerned though with Ferrari and their decision making, and they're not converting pole position into wins. It's kind of really not sitting well with me. But
Where they racing tomorrow? What track are they on tomorrow?
what's our name? Azerbaijan.
Yeah. Azerbaijan, yeah.
Yeah, so there are
Interesting.
But it's really to have so many races and you're on pole, like this is what the 7th time and you would have win 2. Kind of really not sitting well with me, but let's see what they try to do tomorrow. I was the next thing football. I still believe that I don't know how this thing with the World Cup and so many football being played right now. Because they're the Nation League now.
Yeah.
And then the league's gonna start in August.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to the Premier League, and then you have World Cup in November.
You have to remember that this is work for these guys, you know. You're thinking that they need break. Do you get break from work?
Yeah.
No, where you work, do you get break? Do you get break?
Yes, man.
No, I mean, these are professional footballers. They are professional doctors. I mean, injuries will come and go, but hey, it's time to play, you have to play. Who gets a rest, gets a rest. Who rests around it, but the World Cup has to go on, and the leagues have to go on, because that's bread and butter, and the world stops World Cup. So you have to find time for squeezing everything. And I mean, a country has, all these countries that go to the World Cup have 40 players to their exposure. So, I mean, if 2 are injured, somebody fills in. Hey, the show must go on, you have to play. You want them to rest and babysit them? No.
It's just a burnout factor.
Hey, you burn out, you get rest, you come back, you're being paid millions.
I'm concerned about the legs.
The leg. Hey, somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. If Paul Pogba falls down, somebody is going to step in for France, Tuchemeni, a young 20-year-old, or somebody's going to come up. Hey, that's what it's made for.
Is this the first time we're having something like this with so much football being played right before?
It's over football, yeah.
Football.
It's the first time it's happening in the history.
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
And it have to do with this. There are so many leagues now, one thing going on.
Okay.
And then qualification for World Cup
Hey,
and then World Cup. So
professionalism and its work. They get breaks. How much break do you want them to have for the year?
Much break?
Yeah, how long break?
Give them a 2-week gap before the World Cup start.
So you're saying they won't have a 2-week break before the World Cup?
Before the World Cup, because
They'll have a little break. But what will they do in that break? They will be training. So they'll be still playing football.
But on the other hand though, even though they are playing a little bit more football than usual, the benches are longer. I noticed with club teams now, it's almost a different team play the next weekend.
They get rest.
Yeah. It's
So,
almost
well, I guess it's up to the head coach.
And when they get break, what they're going to do on their break?
They don't have to. The nationally, they don't have to play.
No, I'm just saying that
I
it's a trend I've been observing. Some super long benches.
When a professional athlete gets a break, you know what they do?
They go and play the sport. I don't know.
When LeBron gets a break, you know LeBron now? Playing basketball in the gym. You can get hurt nonetheless. When you get a break?
Yeah. But O'Neal?
One final piece before I go.
Quick.
Rafael, the best thing in Jamaica side right now.
Yeah.
Yes. You saw that free kick? That was world class.
I saw the entire game and he has this ability to just he moves the game. I don't want the game to just play through him.
Says Peter was ahead of everybody else?
He touched his class above everybody else.
No, actually, Peter.
Thank you. You're referring to me, right?
All right, O'Neal.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, Reggae Boys, you don't touch much on Reggae Boys. We'll play Mexico on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Next week we'll talk more about the Reggae Boys after.
Predictions for Mexico.
I'm looking at maybe a 1-0 loss.
1-1 draw.
1-0.
I think we'll lose about 4-0.
All right, guys.
Before I go, I want to touch on 800-meter record. Men's record, national record being broken. Navaski
Congratulations.
1:45.02.
Yeah.
I mean, record stood from 1977. I mean, other key times for the week, Akeem Blake running 9:92, another sub-10 running for another Jamaican male. So on the male side, we're getting bright. We're going to touch on that more next week. I mean, Brianna running 10:97, equaling our PB.
Oh, good achievement. Just
again.
when some people in the local media were calling for her to switch coaches.
Yeah, so, I mean, national trials ended this month, June 23rd to 26th.
Coming good at the right time.
Coming good. So more next week, track and field, talk more about Reggae Boys. We'll have the NBA champions next week, more likely, if my prediction comes true again, Game 6, Golden State Warriors. But hey, we'll see what happens and we'll talk more tennis. So we have to wrap up the show now. Thanks to all the viewers, thanks to the listeners.
Download the Primal app. The new version of the Primal app is now available for iPhone and for Android.
All right, so
stay tuned. DJ Alabash is up next.
All right, one love, respect.